Welcome to this week's edition of the Lowe Down, the first of the season, back here in the studio. Robbie, Mustoe, Tim Howard have some questions. I think it's 5. I don't know what they are. They turn the tables on me. If you haven't seen the Lowe Down before, they ask me the questions. I give them their answers, hopefully in 30 seconds, but usually not. Who's got question number 1?
I have. So Liverpool beat Manchester United 3-0.
Yep.
Really, really good. Mo Salah was amongst the scorers. Were you surprised at what Mo Salah said afterwards in an interview about his contract situation?
Yeah, afterwards, if anyone didn't see it, he basically said the club haven't spoken to me yet. I'm in my last year. This is my last year at the club as of now, basically. It's probably my last time at Old Trafford. I was surprised because I think it's a really bad look for the club. I can sort of imagine the press guys right now, we're just a few minutes after the game, just, oh no, it's going to be all over the papers. Mo Salah says, I'm not staying. It's a terrible look after they've just beaten Manchester United 3-0. And Mo Salah knows what he's doing. He's not new to the party. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's putting a massive bit of pressure on the club. He's putting a message out there to say, excuse me, I'm Mo Salah, sign me back up. If not, I'm going to talk about it in public and show me the money. And he's got history where that's concerned. And fair enough, by the way, the guy's a legend. But definitely massive message. I was surprised. I think Liverpool may have dropped the ball slightly in that area. Tim?
Arsenal dropped points yesterday.
I know.
Their next 2 games, Spurs and City. Oh. How concerned are you? Take that where you want. How concerned are you?
A little bit concerned. And I said this on air with, I think, a question to one of you guys, is that these days in the Premier League, this didn't happen 10 years and 5 years ago, really, but since Liverpool and Man City's rivalry started, and then, of course, it became City and Arsenal's, every single drop point is massive because these clubs are all getting into the 90s virtually every year, some of them almost 100. So to drop points on weekend number 3 is a bit of a concern for me. I know there was a possible caveat with Declan Rice being sent off, but, you know, the law is the law. And even though I would like to have seen common sense put in, you could understand why he was given that second yellow. So that does concern me. I 100% think Liverpool have been overlooked when it comes to the title. So it's, for me, I know we're only 3 games in, but it's not all about Arsenal. I can't help, though, but think he's got to do it. Mikel Arteta's got to do it this year. You can't keep coming super, super close.
And if he doesn't?
And not do it.
And if he doesn't?
If he doesn't, they might have a decision to make. Well, you can't keep doing it. You can't every year come second by 1 point, because then you're not... I mean, I know they're actually getting better every year, which suggests that this year they will do it. If they don't, you can't keep not doing it and being Arsenal manager.
OK.
Go.
Question number 3, as we watch Man City win another game. Yeah. Is Erling Haaland the greatest striker the Premier League has ever seen?
I think you are close to being able to say that, but the sample size is still not as big as I would like it to be totally fair to the likes of Alan Shearer and Thierry Henry. He's also a very different player to those kind of players. He reminds me of Shearer, actually, with that ruthlessness and that clinical finishing, although he does miss a bunch of chances. Could you imagine what it would be like if he was even more clinical? But we are very much getting close to that. It's unlike anything I think most people have ever seen. The problem is, how long is he going to stay? Because can you be the greatest striker the Premier League's ever seen in 3 years?
Playing,
I don't know. Maybe you can. Just basically, he might blow it out the park again this season in terms of ratio of goals to games, probably will. This reminds me of the first season for Erling Haaland. If he ends up doing that, maybe 3 years is just about enough because his ratio will be something we've never seen before by such a big distance. So maybe, but let's get there first. And I'd like to see him maybe say 5 years, and then you've definitely got your sample size. Tim?
Question 4, transfer deadline is passed. Some interesting moves on deadline day. Which is your favorite deadline day? And I could say Sterling, Sancho, Ugarte. You go with that.
My favorite one is Raheem Sterling. Just because, I mean, well played. The guy's played for like basically every top team in England, and now he's getting a chance at Arsenal. I'm kind of here for it. I quite like Raheem Sterling, both on the field and off the field. I mean, I don't know him, but in terms of what he represents off the field. And I quite like this move for Arsenal. I don't always love late moves in the market, especially from big clubs, because I think, well, why didn't you get in for him earlier in the season? But with this particular situation, this didn't develop at Chelsea until really late. By the way, that's another whole weird situation, why Maresca was like, oh yeah, you're part of pre-season, you're great, here's your shirt. And then like a week before the beginning of the season, everything fell apart. Something obviously happened there. So for him, I'm not sure he'll get back in the England squad. I think as 29, I think Lee Carsley is obviously going for younger players, so he might have to kiss his international career goodbye. But, I mean, how great is that? You can't get in the Chelsea squad, just going to toddle on over to North London and play for Arsenal. I mean, well played, Raheem Sterling, to be quite honest. OK, any more questions?
Yeah, go on more.
One more.
So it's less than 3 weeks now till our Chicago FanFest.
I'm so excited about Chicago. I've never been.
Brilliant.
Okay.
What's your favourite FanFest moment up to this point?
Oh my gosh, I've loved so many. In fact, I've loved every single city we've gone to. I think one point looking out over the sea of fans in Philadelphia was amazing because I felt like that visually, just from my perspective on the stage, was so magnificent. There wasn't a space anywhere. That was great. But also what happened to Philadelphia, which I will never ever get over, was when Seamus lifted you up. Because when Seamus
Was that lift number one or was it the second time?
That was lift number one. The second time was in, where did we just go? Nashville. No, the one before that. I don't know, there's been so many. But when he lifted you up, I actually was like, I'm not sure I can be in control of this show anymore. I couldn't, my diaphragm was like cramping. I was laughing so much. I was thought, if anyone tells me he's going to break, I can't speak, I can't barely breathe. I was in hysterics. It was one of the greatest moments of
I was thinking,
all time.
I was on his shoulder. This is great TV.
I love that. Sacrifice yourself for the greater good. Gentlemen, a pleasure, as always. Thank you very much indeed. Don't forget, over on the Premier League, NBC Premier League, or even the NBC Sports YouTube channel, there's lots of Premier League content. Can't get my words out today. Premier League update, the two Robbies podcasts. Robbie Mustoe is about to go and record that. And this show, The Lowe Down, loads of original content. Don't forget, head over to the NBC Sports YouTube channel. We'll see you next week. Bye for now. Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host of NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And if you want even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock.